40 years, I just can't tell it all. I just can't tell it all. The Diary of a Coach, Former MLB Scout. Chasing that MLB dream. The reality remains clear. Who is draftable, who is picked, and who is overlooked is ultimately shaped by the eyes of that scout. The journey to the big leagues is more about an opportunity than it is about talent, as I have come to learn that the best talent doesn't always make it to the show. It's about the right time and right place. I just can't tell it all. Get my book at your Diary247.us. That's your Diary247.us.
Coach Mike, we made us. I'm visiting with Mark DeRosa, Cleveland Indians.
Yeah.
Well, a little different, huh?
It's a lot different.
Well, I sure reach a young audience, and most young ball players have that ambitions of playing Major League Baseball. So you've been around with a number of teams. What has been the key to your success?
Being a coachable guy, I think, is one. Being a team player, putting my personal statistics aside, knowing they'll be there if I play to win and play as part of a cohesive team. And always felt that I was coachable and can move around the diamond and anything to get my name in the lineup, to be honest with you. I just want 4 chances to hit a ball out of the park.
Yeah. And as I say, my show reaches a young audience. I used to coach college ball, and I scouted for 5 major league teams. And when I see kids that have that ambitions of playing ball, major league ball, I always tell them, if you hit, they'll find some place for you to play. And it sounds like that's been your history.
That is definitely the case. I was a guy who had to work extremely hard offensively to get to the point in my career where I feel comfortable. But if you hit, they will find a position for you. And I've found myself coming up as a shortstop and have played right field, left field, and all over the diamond. So I think the options that a versatile guy brings to a coaching staff and a team allows them to play a lot more.
So what would you say to that young ball player that looks at you and idolizes you and say, Mark DeRosa is my idol?
I would say thank you very much. I don't view myself on that platform, but I like to believe I do things the right way and that I appreciate and respect the game and the people that have come before me, and I try and play the game hard.
So what's it like being out in the streets and people recognize you and all of a sudden 100 kids run up to you for your autograph?
I have no problem with the kids. It's the adults. The kids is what, I remember, myself as a young kid waiting outside Yankee Stadium trying to just get a glimpse of Don Mattingly or Dave Winfield or Ricky Henderson, whoever it may be. So
you're making me feel old now.
So it's one of those things I understand. So when the kids are around, you love interacting with them.
Yeah. I was coaching ball. I would always tell my kids, I said, y'all don't understand what it's like for major league players. They play a night game, they fly into a city 3-4 o'clock in the morning, they get in, jet lag and fans chasing them for autographs. You have no private life if you're a superstar. So to that youngster out there, tell them, is it really worth being a major league player?
It's 100% worth it. Those are, obviously, when you go to certain cities, you always seem to have family members creep up and people that want to come to the game. But it's tough in some regards, in some aspects, to travel. Being away from family, being away from your kids is not always easy. But at the same time, it's a short-lived career, and not something that you can do much past 45 now. A lot of guys are playing into their 40s, so. It's short-lived, and you have plenty of time to catch up.
You played for a few teams over your major league career. How much of a transition is that to get used to new teams, new cities, new fans?
It's a big transition. As far as going into the clubhouse, I've been around the game long enough where I kind of got a feel for certain personalities and have played, whether it be on previous teams or winter league teams, with usually 1 or 2 guys from every team. So I'm pretty familiar in that arena going into a clubhouse. As far as getting to know a city and a fan base, that makes it difficult.
Well, I'm sure you get lost a lot when you leave outside the stadium.
Yeah, you better have a GPS system with you. As far as usually all I ever know is how to get to the field and where a couple restaurants are to eat.
All right, let me take you back a little bit. When you first got that call as you were coming to the big leagues, What was that feeling like? Where and when was that, first of all?
Yeah, it was in 1998. I was in playing the Carolina Mudcats in AA, and was told by our AA manager that I was getting called up, and I assumed I was going to AAA. And when he told me I was going to big leagues, I really didn't believe it. I was in a state of shock, and didn't sleep that night, and obviously called my parents. They didn't believe it, and I just remember it being a whirlwind of emotions. And the key for me, as I always said, you want to get there, but you want to stay.
Yeah.
And my first couple times, I was on that shuttle back and forth until I could finally get a few meaningful hits that kept me around for a little longer.
So you walked in that locker room for the first time and saw your uniform hanging up. Was it butterflies?
Yeah, it was butterflies, definitely, and especially with the team I came up with, the Atlanta Braves, and their string of division titles, and Greg Maddux, Smoltz, Glavine, Chipper, Sheffield, all those guys were on that team, and a very superstar-laden team for me to come up and be a part of.
So you had to walk in there at awe when you looked around.
I was in awe. I think that's sometimes what affects young players when they come up. They work their whole life and watch these guys on TV, and next thing you're getting dressed next to them in lockers, and it kind of takes you back for a minute.
So I've heard all these stories about rookie treatment. Did you get rookie treatment from those veterans?
Yeah, I got rookie treatment. I was a bellboy for some of the older veterans. I was a flight attendant on some of the plane flights. I was dressed up. I didn't care, man. I did anything.
Oh, you were there. Well, the coach visited with Mark DeRosa. All the youngsters out there, he's giving you some insights of what it's like to be in the big leagues.
Chapter 6. Dealing with disgruntled parents. When a parent has an axe to grind, there's no shortage of challenges, especially when it comes to managing expectations. I learned this firsthand when I encountered this particularly disgruntled parent who was like none other, whose frustration stemmed from her belief that her son was among the top 200 players in the nation. A claim based on assertions from some coaches at baseball clinics and camps that he attended. His mother quickly became my most challenging critic, using every platform to voice her dissatisfaction. Read the full story. It's all in the book at your diary247.us. That's your diary247.us.